know, I think, you know, to get to do this and have people, I mean, you know, literally I was 18 years old when we started to tour, and, you know, and I'm turning 29 this summer, you know, and to see people that were coming out and were fans of something corporate when they were 12 and 13 years old, who are now, you know, in their 20s and still coming to the shows, you know, like, you know, I feel like that's as big a compliment as I could get, you know, and you know, hopefully, you know, there's another, you know, 10 or 20 years, you know, maybe 30, 40, and I'd like to do this till I'm done, so, you know, hopefully there's still... What's going on? I'm Andrew McMahon from Jack's Mannequin, and you're watching Project Greenroom from here in the lovely Poughkeepsie.
So here we are with Andrew McMahon of Jack's Mannequin in Poughkeepsie, New York. Lovely hot summer day.
It's a beautiful day today, yeah.
Weekend before July 4th, kicking off. You're heading to Canada, though.
Yeah, right. What an appropriate place for me to spend the 4th of July. We'll be in Montreal.
Some spring cleaning, getting ready to cross the border. Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
So you guys have been hard at work, your new album, People and Things, the past year, I guess.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be back on the road? Summer?
It's a trip. It's awesome, though. Yeah, I mean, it's so much... We usually tour in the wintertime,
right.
You know. I mean, we always tour in the winter. I mean, we tour most of the year, actually. Yeah. But to get out in the summer when it's just like, gosh, you can get out and stretch your legs every day and, you know, go walk around a city and see what's up. And, yeah, it definitely it makes a little bit lighter atmosphere on the road, for
Not
sure.
bundled up or anything.
Yeah, there's just something about when you step outside and it's freezing and you feel like you either got to be in a bus or a dressing room all day long. So, no, this has been great.
Nice. Now, let's talk about the new album. You recorded with Rob Cavallo.
Yeah.
Who did Green Day, My Chemical Romance.
Yeah.
Now, in the past, you've worked with Jim Wirt on both Jack's albums.
Yeah, and
something corporate. Why'd you guys decide to make the change to go with Rob?
Well, truthfully, you know, Rob actually came in kind of at the very end. This has been such a journey. I've worked with so many people, and it's been incredible. You know, it's sort of almost in a sense the most collaborative kind of process I've ever had in a record. You know, I started as much as 2 years ago with the writing process, you know, and I had actually kind of recorded an early version of the record, or I'd say got about halfway through, and it was, I was sort of doing it in the same way I had done Passenger and everything in Transit, where I was, you know, sort of, I'd put down the piano and the vocal, and then we build the track around the piano and the vocal, and I just found myself kind of itching to do something different and experience something different in the studio, you know, and I ended up, you know, actually reaching out to a guy named Jim Scott, another Jim. Yeah, exactly. I tried just to confuse things for everybody. But Jim is just this fantastic producer-engineer. He did a bunch of the Wilco records from way back in the day to now, as well as, like, he recorded my favorite, he engineered my favorite Tom Petty record, Wildflowers. He'd done Californication for the Chili Peppers, and, you know, as an engineer with Rick Rubin as a producer. So I've been in contact with Jim on and off throughout the years. He was recording the Heartbreakers' Last DJ when we were next door in the other studio recording Something Corporate's Leaving Through the Window. Wow. And so that was my first sort of experience with Jim. You know, we met him and he would always leave the door open so we could kind of perv on the Petty sessions and stuff. And so, you know, at the moment that I sort of decided to stop recording this first version of the record, I kind of, you know, I've done this a couple times. I did it on Passenger too, where I kind of had a road trip to kind of clear my brain and figure things out. And I did another one of these road trips, and kind of halfway through, it sort of became clear, like, I'm going to call Jim Scott. I'm going to see if he wants to work on my record and produce it. And you know, and he said yes. And I came back. I talked to Bob and Jay, who've been in my band for you know, 4 or 5 years now, and they said, you know, what about us getting in the studio together and just like trying to put it, you know, do this in kind of the most organic way possible. So, you know, rewind, I should say, to September last year, and we holed up in this house outside of Joshua Tree, right by the National Park in Joshua Tree, and myself and Bob and Jay just kind of learn these songs together that I've been working on over the course of the previous year. And then we took up to Valencia to Jim's studio, and we you know, just kind of basically recorded. Bobby switched from guitar to bass because we were out of bass player at the time, and so we had the three of us kind of record these songs. We'd spend all day and we'd work on a track a day, and we would just play the song over and over and over again, recording every take. We got there were songs that had as many as like 100 takes, and then we would just basically take the you know, if we could find a whole take that we were just like, that's the one, then we would use that, you know, and we'd do whatever cleanup we had to, and do the overdubs, and do the vocals and stuff, and do the guitar stuff, because Bob was playing bass at the time. And then if we didn't have it all in one take, then we would just edit together the best takes.
Right.
So that took us through like December, January. We did a you know, kind of an initial mix of the record, and it sounded great, but we kind of wanted to push it a little bit further. You know, enter Mr. Cavallo, and you know, he had become the chairman of Warner Brothers, kind of in the process of us making this record, and he and I had, you know, been talking regularly, and I've been playing him kind of the progress on the record, and he was super supportive and really into it. So it came down to like, we wanted to record one more song and just kind of, you know, finish touching up these tunes, and Rob, you know, opened his home to myself and to the band, and, you know, we kind of, you know, put a little last finish on the record, and literally I got the last mix yesterday.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the record's been mixed and mastered for a while, but we just were finishing the singles.
Right.
Yeah, you know, and so to answer your question, what made me do all of this? You know, again, was just sort of wanted to explore it. You know, I've been making records for 10 years, and I wanted to see what it was like to just do it in a different way, and have a new experience. And this certainly was that.
Now, lyrically on this album, Glass Passenger must have been a hard record to write in a lot of ways.
To say the least.
Yeah, to say the least. With this new album, was it kind of like, you know, therapeutic to have, you know, a new outlook on lyrically, or? Yeah,
I mean, I think, you know, what I found, you know, I look at Jax, and I've always looked at Jax as kind of a story, you know, and you know, granted, with this record, you know, I explored even on the writing side. You know, I wrote with some friends. I wrote with Matt from Reliant K. Wrote a few songs with him. Another one of my buddies, Jaron, from this band American Bang. We wrote a song on this record together as well. And so it was kind of an interesting thing. You know, I wrote with friends because we could be conversational, and the songs could still be personal, because these are people who I trust and I care about, and they understand me. And so we kind of were able to do that. But I think, you know, I wanted this record, very much like the other two have been, to be kind of a continuation of the story, and if not, maybe even the completion of the story, you know, and you know, so you had Transit, which was kind of this breakup record, you know, that sort of leaves an open ending of maybe it's all going to sort itself out, you know. The very end is, you know, maybe we're made for each other, you know. I mean, that's the way the record ends, and I think, you know, obviously Passenger took me on a detour, you know. It was a part of the story that I was not expecting to happen. So in that sense, you know, I think I steered away from sort of the relationship stuff, and I kind of focused on this idea of hope and overcoming a hard time, and dare I say, you know, in that period of time, I think the obsession with figuring all that out, I don't necessarily know played out in a really positive way in my own personal life as far as my relationship was concerned. And, you know, I was newly married at the time we were doing Passenger, and I think, you know, I really wanted to, on this record, to kind of talk about that, and talk about, you know, and it's not really a sexy subject matter, talking about being married, you know, so I have to be, you know, but I think as a writer, you know, I talk to my other buddies who have been in a similar situation, and I've seen documentaries on other artists who this is a conflict for them. You know, when all of a sudden you take the option of new love off the table, and, you know, it can be a little like, oh my God, what am I going to say? What am I going to write about? And so it was sort of the challenge I laid down for myself on this record, was like, let's talk about this kind of deep binding love, and the complexity of it, because it is, in a lot of senses, more complicated than new love. It's so much deeper, and there's such a, you know, there's just a lot to it. And so that was really kind of, I think, the foundation for a lot of the writing of this record is what that's about and what that looks like from the inside. And, you know, I think it required, I think, some, you know, a little bit of courage on the part of you know, of my wife and other people in my life, because it wasn't just about that. It was also about these other relationships. You know, there was a lot of things that I think I had to put on the back burner to get through what Passenger was. So I think, in a sense, this was my moment to sort of rectify some of that and talk about it, you know, on an album.
Now, what's cool about Jack's Mannequin, it started off just as a side project, and morphed into basically your career, full-time band now. Full-time band. Now, when you first started, your goal was probably just to have some fun. Yeah. I'm sure, you know, just to do something different. Yeah. Now, I mean, what has changed over the years? Like, what's your big goal now? Like, what do you still want to accomplish in music? I mean, you've done a lot. You sell tours.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think there's always that one hurdle that I've never gotten to, and it's hysterical. It's like every time I put out a record, it's like you want that gold record,
right?
You want that hit on the radio. This is since I was a kid writing music, these are the things that you aspire towards. You want you want everyone to know what you're doing. But I also think that's a careful what you wish for sort of scenario.
Yes.
I've been really blessed to get to do this and to play these shows and still be able to put food on the table and not worry about getting harassed at a mall.
Be able to go to the shopping.
So it's hard to say what exactly I want next. I don't really want for a lot of things.
Right.
I'm really lucky. What I want is to be able to keep doing this. What I want is to keep growing as a musician and keep writing songs that I'm inspired by and that inspire other people. And I think if I had that, I don't really know that I could beg for anything else. I mean, granted, yeah, the little extra perks would be nice.
Yeah.
I would love it if one of the songs on this record, picked up and actually, got some traction on radio. But, the reality is it's like that, all of these mediums are changing and evolving, and it's a different world now. So what used to be a barometer for mass success, now that could be 1 million hits on YouTube.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Likes on Facebook.
Yeah. So for me, I think as long as I can keep making music and keep traveling around the country and the world and playing it for people and still have them show up, that's pretty much the dream.
It's definitely not dying down now.
No, we're
We've been here
since
since
it's looking good. Yeah. No, I mean, I like to think of myself as the luckiest guy in this business. So.
Now the Aquarian Weekly, I'm sure you're pretty familiar with the Bamboozle. We're close to the Stone Pony. We do a lot of the Stone Pony. Last time, correct me if I'm wrong, you played the Stone Pony was 2007 on the West Coast Winter Tour.
That sounds familiar.
The audition, Treaty of Paris.
Yeah.
Early show, I think. Very early. You played a cover of "I'm on Fire" by Bruce Springsteen. I think you learned it maybe 45 minutes before. I think you said
we totally screwed it up.
No,
I mean, it was fun. It was
So this time you're coming back to the Stone Pony. You're playing on the summer stage, which faces the ocean.
I can't wait.
Are we going to hear another? What can we expect? Another Bruce cover, maybe?
God, I don't know. Maybe we'll bring it back out and try and do it justice this time. Yeah, exactly. I tried it. We did it again. I think at the something corporate Bamboozle, maybe it was the
Hoodwink.
The Hoodwink.
Yes.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Which is just you and
exactly. But I think Brian and Bob I think came out and played. So maybe we'll bust it out for this Stone Pony.
Bust it out for Clarence, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's funny. I mean, after we played that gig, somehow we ended up being in Springsteen's top 8 on his website or something. I was like, there's no way that performance earned us any respect by the boss, but
you gotta do what you gotta do.
I mean, we've since honed it, and I like it now.
Right.
I think it's cool now.
Now, you also Bamboozle this year, Link special guest.
Yeah.
Now, you've been involved with Bamboozle back to the skate and surf days with something corporate.
Way back.
Guys were in the van in Asbury Park.
Absolutely.
You headlined Bamboozle Left last year with something corporate.
Yep.
And you played New Jersey too. What was it like to be a special guest this year, to see 30,000 people, not who's out there? Because it was secret this year. No one knew. Yeah,
God, believe me, I had John, who's the promoter of the show, he was just like, I was trying to go to catering, and he's like, you can't leave the bus. I was like, screw you, John, I'm going. So it was me and the guys up in front of the Lil Wayne stage.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, no, it was interesting, I mean, to show up and be totally unannounced was like, it ended up, I think, being a really cool gig. It certainly was different than if everybody knew we were going to be there. But
people were stoked.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I mean, to get to, that festival has been, a pretty intimate part of the growth and of both of my bands, and and I sort of you can sort of mark our success over the years through from skate and surf through to the Bamboozle. So just to be involved at any level, with John and with the crew over there is always great.
Yeah, you started out on the small stage.
Yeah.
I think in the walkway at skate and surf.
I feel like that sounds about right. Yeah.
And then you're playing. Opening for Lil Wayne. Not bad.
Hey,
and Motley Crue, Tommy.
Absolutely, I know. It was such a bummer because Tommy was going to come play with us that day, and they got stuck in their press conference.
He was
like, I'm gonna come, I'm coming, and he's like, dude, I'm stuck in this conference. Right before I went on stage, I was like, damn it, Tommy. But it was a lot of fun though.
Nice. Well, thanks for making music and inspiring all these people, and thanks for talking with the Aquarian Weekly.
Yeah, my pleasure.
We'll see you at the Pony.
Look forward to it
with a Bruce cover.
Bruce.
Beautiful that time. That's my man Bobby Raw on the guitar. That's Jamie Billen on the drum set. He's an old soul, but we call him the Kid. That's Mikey on the bass.